All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Fridays at UTS Startups. Woo! Oh, thank you. I'm so impressed how many people came today despite the weather. I think it's improved a bit, but it was a bit chaotic before. So really thank you for making the way to come here with us today. So today we have an exciting topic, very relevant topic, AI startups. So we have 8 amazing pitches today, which is awesome. So can't wait to hear from all of them. Before we get started, though, I wanted to say to you that we have this amazing new co-working space that we just recently opened, which is 2 floors above us, actually. So if any of you want to check it out, please come and find me later. We can book you in for a tour. We have 250 desks. I think in the past few weeks, we just signed up about 70 startups. So yeah, it's getting pretty busy, and we have some amazing startups up there. But let's kick off this pitch night. I'll explain to you how it goes. So each of the pitches has 3 minutes to pitch. I will be taking the time. At 2 minutes, I'll do a warning bell like this. Whoop. Just like this. And then at 3 minutes, I'll ring it a few more times, and then you'll know your time is up. You can finish your sentences or your paragraphs. So don't worry, I won't kick you off the stage straight away, but because we have so many to go through, then we have to be slightly strict. And we also have 3 amazing judges sitting over there. So we have Dave, who's the AI guy at UTS Startups. We have Brian, who's known as the Rocket Man. And then we have Josh, who's a serial entrepreneur, but I will let them all introduce themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Hey, everybody. Yes, I'm Dave, the AI guy at UTS Startups. I just wrapped up almost a PhD here in AI agents. I built the agent that's upstairs, if anyone's used it. And I've been into this space for a really long time. Everyone's finally catching up, finding it cool, which is really great. Can't wait to hear these pitches. If anyone's got some stuff to talk about that they want to talk about technically later on too, that'd be great. I'll hand it over to Brian.
Thank you very much. My name is Brian Lim. I'm an old hat in the space industry. People remember me when I had hair. So I have a background in AI, space technology, and renewable energy. And right now I'm helping people find government funding for their deep technical projects. So come say hi to me if you need to find government money. Cool.
And I'm Josh. I guess I've never worked for someone, so that's kind of a bit of a bold claim. Yep, cool. I'm happy to help anyone look at what they're thinking from their business, from go-to-market through to product. And if you are looking to raise capital, also happy to have a chat about that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Amazing panel of judges. All right. Well, without further ado, I will call the first pitch on stage, Ben McCarthy from Pockets Genius. Woo! So Ben is the only one without slides, so very brave. So off you go.
Thank you. Could say brave, could say unprepared. I'm the sort of person who would prefer to talk to everybody individually rather than all at once, but I've only got 3 minutes, so let's do it. So my problem. Business thought leaders, people like Seth Godin or Alex Hormozi or Eric Ries, who wrote the Lean Startup, have all built audiences of 200,000 to a million or more people. And they all have the same problem, and that is that they are inundated with emails and DMs for requests for personalized guidance. They can get thousands of these emails every single week. So at the moment, how they deal with this problem is that they offer one-on-one consulting, which can cost up to $3,000 per hour, just for the top % of this demand. And the rest of it just basically goes unanswered. So this is a problem that is absolutely screaming for an answer, because it's been a problem forever, and now it can finally be solved through AI. So some of these thought leaders have recognized this. Alex Hormozi has built his own custom AI. and that is trained on his books and his material. And he sells access to this AI for $6,000 for one person to access this AI, which is just incredible, right? And people pay it because it's so valuable. It's like having Alex as their own personal business advisor. So Pocket Genius, this is what we do. We create custom AIs for thought leaders to help them answer this demand. And of course, it can do it instantly at any time. So we're in the prototype stage and reaching out to the first thought leaders to get them on board. We have a path to fast growth and profitability because onboarding one thought leader onboards their whole audience of 200,000 up to 1 million potential people. So my name's Ben. I'm a second-time founder. I'm a full stack developer, indie developer. And I'm pitching today to look for people that are in the AI space that would like to collaborate with this idea, that are excited by it, and yeah, talk to me afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ben. Over to the judges.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about like what do you mean by a custom AI?
Custom AI. So it's an AI that has trained on all of the content this person has created, their blogs, their books, newsletters, and put together. Yeah, I don't know how much detail to go into.
Well, how do you train a custom AI?
So you get all of the content, you break it up into smaller chunks, snippets. Again, I don't know how much detail we want to go into. And you have the query from the person, and you essentially match the two up, and it spits out your answer. Essentially personalizing the request to personalizing content to the person's request.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cool. Mine was a bit of a full-on question. It's like, so let's say I want to be your thought leader and I want to use your platform. What kind of information can your AI ingest and duplicate, and what kind of information it cannot ingest and duplicate? So if my recommendations around, you go buy a house or something, or if I need to give to AI to draw up plans for PCB boards and electronical circuits, what can it do and cannot do?
Well, yeah, it's a good question. So my ideal customer at the moment is people who have written usually text, right, that teach a clear methodology that produces a clear outcome, because that is what marries up the best with this process. So I wouldn't try to take on circuit boards or housing or anything like that, because it doesn't fit this criteria, which is just really easy for me to get started on.
Okay, thank you.
Great pitch.
Thank you.
It's really challenging to do it without a slide deck, so well done. I guess my primary question is, how does this just vary from putting in a large instruction set into ChatGPT and then it just replicating that? Because it kind of feels like that's what we're doing, and I don't understand how that's driving value for people.
Yeah.
Is there any difference?
Yeah, I mean, I've done that. I've definitely done that, copied and pasted into ChatGPT. So what the big difference is these use cases, these business use cases, when you're creating a marketing plan or your business strategy, they're outcomes where just a small improvement in the quality of your response makes a big difference in the impact in your life. So that's really what we would specialize at. So yeah, basically. I could go into more detail, but that's basically the answer. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ben from Pocket Genius. And I just wanted to let everyone know that please stick around later. We'll have some pizzas and networking. If you want to ask some questions individually, we're just going to need to move on because we have 7 more pitches left. So next one, we have Bradley Hughes from Neural Commander. Woo! You need this one. Oh, and
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bradley C. Hughes, and I've spent over 30 years building information technology infrastructure, starting here at UTS in the early 90s. Built the first UTS library web server in 1994, started my first startup, Arrakis Internet Services, out of UTS in 1995, and put the faculty handbooks online for the first time in 1996. So it's good to be back at UTS after 30 years. So what am I doing with Neural Commander? So just look at what I experienced this morning. Oops. Oh, the whole thing. Yeah, sorry. Thanks, Jane. Learning how to use the pointer is good. Yeah. So this morning I lost 10 hours of work. I was working on 5 concurrent Claude Code sessions when my terminals just crashed. All the windows vanished on Windows. May not be as common a problem on Mac, but certainly happened even on my high-end PC. So hands up anyone else who's ever lost context and lost work with a Claude Code crash. Yeah, I see a few hands going up. So I figure that I'm not alone with that, as we see. There's no native recovery mechanism. All the conversation context is lost, and 10 hours of progress simply gone. So I bet that every developer using AI assistants globally has experienced this nightmare at least once. So the painful irony, I was actually at the time working on Neural Commander itself, which is my solution to this problem. So what it does, it's a daemon, it's coded in Go, and it's running a background daemon, and it watches all the projects in my /dev/projects directory. It's actively watching and ingesting patterns, anything longer than a certain length, feeding all the text into local models. So I'm running Olama in the background in Docker, all gets fed into local models and analyzed and documented. So 2 streams of documentation coming out. One goes into SQLite for machine learning, and the other one goes into Obsidian documentation for the human developer. Sorry, my phone keeps locking up. So it's not a theoretical problem. Development sessions are fragile by design. We've moved from the old world of file-based development where we just saved our files and committed to Git and it was all good. But now in these sessions, unless we are disciplining ourselves to do our Git commits and actively document, if we lose that session, we're losing all that context. So that's the point of building Neural Commander. Because every lost session has a measurable financial impact. If you add it up in terms of lost developer hours, and then you scale that across maybe 1 or 2 incidents a month across a team of 10, that number can get pretty big pretty quick. So let's say that the market is 5 million AI-assisted developers globally, potentially up to a $6 billion problem in annual lost productivity. So the serviceable market can be quite substantial. Neural Commander makes the session loss rapidly recoverable through infrastructure. Got a checkpoint engine and various things. So just jumping finally to the ask, so I've got a roadmap. The ask is basically, I'm here basically auditioning. I want to join the UTS Startups, looking for collaborators, mentors, and potentially some seed funding if anyone thinks this is worth pursuing. Thank you.
thank you, Bradley. Over to the judges.
I love it. I love it. I hate every time my terminal crashes and I lose a day's worth of work. It's always fun. Is this effectively Git for my prompts?
Git for?
My prompts.
Yeah, it is logging the prompts as well as any substantive output. I've got it filtering so it doesn't save all the routine stuff, when you're testing or restarting things or whatever, all that's filtered out, but all the useful stuff from the context from the session's getting saved, ingested and analysed, yeah.
And so we can put it on a Mac, right? So I can just take this and put it on my Mac. I can run it on my computer.
Well, I hope so soon. That's what I need to know. Like at the moment, it's running on my Windows subsystem for Linux as a Go daemon, and I'm sure it'll be able to get working on Windows and Mac as well. But that's where me as a long-time project manager, systems architect, but not a developer, I've just been learning for 3 months and at it 12 hours a day. So look forward to getting some help on how to get it multi-platform.
Really cool idea. I understand the pain point as well. So, but my question lies towards teams. So you have a 10-man software development team. Does the code base allow you to collaborate on sharing and building prompts and seeing code together as well?
That is definitely the intention of the direction for the product, yeah. To make it team and enterprise enabled later in stages, yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm looking for like 50 beta testers in the next few months and then go from there.
Yeah, great pitch. Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Sorry. I mean, I'm not going to let you get off that easy. In your own testing, when you're running local models, they're somewhat compromised compared to some of the commercial stuff we can get. Are you running into any like context saturation issues? Are you noticing any declines in performance? Can you speak to that at all?
Yeah, it's early days in terms of the local model ingestion and sort of running them as background batch jobs, and I am having some trouble, trying the different models and seeing which ones will hit a threshold where they're extracting meaning or not. I am going to next test it with like API key for OpenAI and Claude. Obviously people want to have that better quality result as well, but my initial thinking was to build something self-sovereign that people didn't have to pay anything for. Like as a community edition to begin with, yeah.
Makes sense. You just need lots of RAM.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Give it up for Bradley. All right, next pitch we have Tim Lee from Fidestra. Woo!
Okay, just give me 2 seconds. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Quick show of hands, how many of you have seen these videos of people like Mike Cannon-Brook, Scott Farquhar, Gina Reinhart trying to sell you investment scams online recently? Right, okay, there's a lot of hands, right. That's the problem we're trying to solve. So basically, deepfakes are a major loss of trust, massive problem, easy to produce, really hard to detect, and incredibly hard to take down. Right now, Andrew Forrest is actually part of a class action lawsuit that has now been transferred to the US from exactly this issue that happened between 2015 and 18. And this has major implications if that goes through on the safe harbor structure that Google and other platforms have where they're protected. So the MVP that we're looking at is very much about detecting, confirming, and taking down investment scams. That's the key thing that we're focused on, laser focused right now, and our objective and target is to do that within 24 hours. A very tall objective, and I will need your help, which I'll ask for some favors at the end. This naturally extends itself to other fake supplements and a whole variety of wider ecosystem applications. But there's this quote from Mark Twain. How many have heard of that quote? A lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is putting its pants on. Right? Just imagine the US midterms next year. What's going to happen to fake news? Who thinks it's going to be really easy to watch everything going on in the midterms next year? I mean, how many are concerned about those sorts of things? Right, okay, a lot of hands, okay. And so we've actually, as part of the overall longer term structure, we're looking at a systemic vision to resolve deep fakes via the agentic economy, and we're in discussions to embed UTS within that open source structure. But I won't go too heavily into that particular detail, other than we want to really embrace solving deep fakes in the long run. It's a big market, growth 35%, estimated to be $41 billion problem. And it's a really powerful flywheel for us. If you think of AI as a technology, the better it gets, the worse it is going to have these deep fakes. And so the more clients that we actually have trying to solve taking these videos down, the more the lifetime value of the LTV just becomes really beautiful. So founding team, we've got a wealth of experience, and just in terms of the ask, if anybody's got any connections to Google, Meta, TikTok, those sorts of guys, ideally on the compliance side, it would be fantastic. A connection to Scott Farquhar or Skip Capital would be an ideal one as well in terms of, I keep on seeing his face on these videos, and it's very frustrating for him, I'm sure. It's very frustrating for us. We are talking to investors as part of a wider structure altogether. But Fidestra, we're trying to solve deep fakes before they solve you.
Awesome as always. So there is, we know the deepfakes are important. So the question now, like as you know, recently Trump is suing the BBC for the edits. Will your AI in the future be able to catch things like that? Because that's not really a deepfake, but it's an edit cut.
I think that's an editorial decision.
Understood.
Because you can, I mean, and I know there are some filmmakers here, but there's any content that you write, there's content that you shoot, and there's content that you edit. And you can change the entire story through the edit. I think I think there's a technical term, and I can't say because we're live, aren't we? They've made a jolly big mistake, I think is the best way of saying it. So that's not fake news. I mean, that's an editorial decision. That was a bad decision, in my opinion.
Thank you. Good to see you, Tim. Really good. I'm curious to know what's the cutting edge now in terms of being able to detect a deepfake versus like knowing that this is a real video versus something that was been generated?
It's a really valid point because when you look at a fake video, instinctively, 99% of us will say that's a fake video, right? But as the quality of the tech gets better and better, it's going to be harder and harder to detect. So we've identified 274 data points that we've looked at that are, forget the technical side of the video, that's just purely surrounding the thing being fake. We've got another 400 odd data points that will be based around the videos themselves. So we're trying to embed, there are some open source databases that we're trying to get access to. One's part of Harvard University, so I'm going to be calling upon UTS for a bit of help here to get me in there, or get us in there. But I mean, it's a very valid point that you raise. You know, it's going to get harder and harder to detect. So we've got to be right at the front end right now, so that we can then put in place the APIs, put in place really high quality structure. And the bigger term picture, we're looking at decentralizing that with some global players, but that's a much, much bigger sort of picture rather than the here and now, so to speak.
Thank you, Tim.
Tim, 230, that's the regulation you're referring to in the US. What happens do you think that this is a thing that exists after 230 gets repealed? Or do you think that this is something that these social media companies will just be able to acquire at that point in time? Because I imagine they're going to throw a lot more resources at solving for this exact problem when they don't have that protection.
Well, I think if the case actually goes through with the class action lawsuit, Meta at this moment in time are under threat. So of course they're going to be throwing lobbyists, they're going to be throwing bucket loads of money. And I mean, let's face it, the legal action for these platforms is just an occupational hazard, right? And what they're interested in is people watching stuff and watching whether it's crap, good, bad, or indifferent. But their reputational value will suffer badly. And if they lose the safe harbor structure, all bets are off. But I think what we're going to see in the next 6 months or so, we will see a crystallizing event where people say, enough is enough. And there'll be something really serious happening. Don't know what it is, but there's no coordination of regulation. There's no coordination around deepfakes. It needs to happen. So it's going to be a big problem is the answer.
Thank you so much, Tim. Let's get up for Tim from Pedestra. Thank you. Awesome. So the next one, we have Edouard Hakim from Construct. I think I said it correctly. Give it up for Edouard. Thank you.
Hey, so my name is Eddie and I'm working on AI construction analytics software. So at the moment, the problem what we're facing through around the construction industry is that people are spending 40 to 50K to build dashboards that takes weeks to build it. The process goes through a couple of Excel spreadsheets from different data sources, and then they push it into Power BI. When executives comes across that data, they're looking at historical data. So what's the problem they're facing? Mainly litigation issues. some of which is, didn't have it up there, just updated it, but Sydney fish markets recently faced litigation issues against Multiplex because there's an issue with project transparency and delays and budgets as well. So if anyone's here doing data analytics, you should probably be familiar with this. This is the current manual workflows where they put different data sheets from Excel sheets to a data warehouse, push it into Power BI, do codings to create charts and then dashboards. Solution we solve? This. So construct, consolidate all data into one system for a data warehouse. We've got AI analytics to create charts and dashboards within seconds instead of weeks and months. So then executives and leaders would be able to see real-time data when they're working on constructions projects. In terms of competitors, there are none. We're the first one in the market. If we do it right, we're going to be the one leading the market. Where are we at? We've spoken with a couple of enterprise companies, including Sydney Water, Scape Student Accommodations, and Leo Oric as well. A couple of SMB markets and Western Sydney airports. In terms of timeline, we're currently working on the MVP as we speak. We've got stages that we've implement from market penetrations to developments, including predictive analysis in the future. Team-wise, we've got a CTO and a COO, both having 10 plus years experience in the market, and I myself has experience around the go-to-market strategies. So what we're looking for, we're currently applying to a couple of accelerator programs all across the globe, including UIC as well in the US, to raise fund. If we get angels or VCs to invest in us, that would accelerate our go-to-market process. Again, if we penetrate this market right, we'll be the first to lead the market. That's it, that's Construct. Mind you, I'm freestyling this, so.
Yeah, that's cool. So I saw your timeline slide, and I'm super confused what a baby unicorn is. What is a baby unicorn?
So unicorn company's value is about $1 billion, so half the size, basically. Okay. Series C funding, that's what basically is, just to put it into different perspective, yeah.
Okay, so no problem, Ern. So if I take an existing system and compare it to yours, how much in time, money, or effort will you save the customer?
Weeks to months. So that's how long so the process of building a dashboard is that they pull from different data sources into Excel sheets, push it into Power BI, which then gets reported, which then they create a dashboards to the executive, just for the executive to be like, hey, this data is not right, do it again, and then goes back and forth until eventually they get the right dashboards. With us, you can create in seconds, and any stakeholders in the company would be able to basically, or any stakeholder in the project would be able to have access to those data.
I apologize because I don't quite understand the middle black box AI key points. So I build dashboards myself. I understand what it's like to have a lot of data, and then we know what we want at the end. But what exactly is happening in that middle layer for you?
So you have a chatbot that you can ask for any dashboards. So we have the metrics and workflows built in those systems. So any any charts that you want to spit out, you can just simply ask. So going back to the first slides, I think. So a question like, say, what's the risk and injury reports from 3 months ago, or show me the cost variance from actual specific dates to specific project. Those kind of questions, you need to create a new dashboards, whereas with us, you can just type it and then the charts pop up with analysis on where they take the data from.
Okay. I have a lot more questions, but we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, sure.
Sounds great.
We can have a chat after as well.
Cool. Great pitch. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you so much, Edward from Construct. And next one, we have Nathan Guerra from TestChimp. Woo!
Thanks. Jane, before you start, can I just ask, I want to understand a little bit about the room. Who's a developer in the room? Okay, so a third. Founders, okay, and VCs, investors. And I know this isn't necessarily like, you know, a couple. All right, fine, great. All right, go ahead. So I'm going to skip my slides. I think I'm just going to talk, mostly because we've just come up with this positioning today. So, all right. So in my experience, and developers, tell me if I'm wrong, developers really enjoy focusing on the big things. Developers don't enjoy so much spending their time fixing UX bugs. They would much rather build the next big product. And I think that's great, and that's fine. I've got a developer co-founder who works with me, and he loves the big stuff as well. The challenge is, I'm going to ask the developers in the room to put the shoe on the other foot for a minute. Because when you go to a website, and you get there, and the copy's wrong, or there's a hello blank or hello username up on the screen, what do you feel like? You probably think that site doesn't have it together. You probably think that product isn't ready for prime time. And you probably have lost trust in their ability to deliver for you. That's a problem. And the truth is, that perspective isn't just you. 75% of people say that they lose trust in a company and they lose credibility in it when they have those UX problems. 88% of users say they're less likely to return when the user experience is bad. The problem is finding those bugs right now is pretty impossible. Automation scripts don't do the work for you because they cannot find UX problems. And additionally, big agents aren't designed to do that as well. What we've created is a system that does. What if you had a partner that could walk through your site every single day, a partner who was an expert at finding awkward visuals, trust-breaking UI errors, weird unprofessional copy, or even broken interactions? What if you could use that to reduce your churn? What if it made people come to your site more often? TestChimp is an AI agent that continuously walks through your app like a real user, spotting those issues, finding those trust-breaking problems, and noticing them before humans ever do. And that's not all. Every time the agent walks through your site, it builds up knowledge of what you're building. It adds that to a context window that allows us to start to create not just an understanding of UX and user experience, but create the products that will actually help you run the rest of your testing, like user stories and even test scripts. All of that in one simple solution. And that's TestChimp. We've got 200 users who've signed up so far this year without any marketing at all. What we're asking for is some people to help test TestChimp, come on board and give it a try. And also we're looking to raise money as well. Thanks.
Bugs suck, we all know that from code. We all coded at one point in the past. So how do you distinguish, how are you using AI to distinguish the difference between a bug or I'll call it an undocumented feature, or should I say unintentional outcome? How does the system know the difference?
How does it know the difference between a bug and an
unintentional outcome?
An intentional outcome. Well, what it does is a couple of things. So you are able to, so every time you run an exploration on our site, it starts to build up a picture of how things come together. We also allow you to upload things like PRDs and additional documentation. And so we take the combination of those two things to help us understand what is correct. We also will do things like change the viewport size. And so if it looks correct and over here and then suddenly the button's off screen over there, it's not a user experience thing, it's a bug. And so we use the combination of totality of all the information we've stored to find and address this.
Cool stuff, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just curious about what's your false negative rate? Like how often is it detecting something or flagging something that says, hey, you should pay attention to this, and then the developer goes, no, that's right.
Yeah. Look, it's not perfect, but what we believe is it's better to be false negative than false positive, than ignore things that are wrong. And so we're improving over time, and as we develop more and more, and as we get more people on the site, it gets better. But it's, yeah, it will definitely find things that are not necessarily wrong. But again, we're getting better every day.
Can we have an idea?
I would say, look, probably less than 10%.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
well done.
Yeah.
Love it. UI, UX is a pain point of mine. Though I'm assuming you've seen Gemini yesterday release anti-gravity.
Yep.
How does this make you feel? Like, what do you think about that compared to what you're offering?
We love it because we also have extensions that plug into VS Code and now anti-gravity as well, so that you can actually use these tools based right in there. So from our perspective, it's a great product and it does interesting things, but what it doesn't do is it doesn't do a great job of building a context window about your entire site. So it looks at an individual page and will tell you something. We can look through the path flows of your site because we've got that context that we built over time. So great partner, love that they're working, and we're excited to be working already in their platform. Great.
Thank you so much, Nathan. And next one, we have Arun Raj from Pirai AI. Woo!
Hello everyone. For 15 years, I worked in a customer experience technology, helping global brands run their research programs, which is a $130 billion industry, market research industry. Earlier this year, everyone was talking about how AI is going to eliminate the jobs. I asked a question myself, how AI would eliminate my role, right? And then, so next slide, please. I reverse engineered it. I identified each manual repetitive task that I did. The biggest one was survey programming, where I used to build surveys from documentations, which is the brief we get from the clients. Then I thought, like, if AI can replace my role, then why not I build that product myself? As a full stack developer, I could see the full potential of AI. Then I built the product. That's how the Pirai AI was born. Next slide, please. Yeah, so here is how we do. The solution, it's a two-step process. The step one is the brain, step two is the engine, where we understand any unstructured documents. It could be images, complex documents, PDFs. It could be platform, let's say Qualtrics specific native formats. We understand any survey content and we convert that into Excel structure, which is the universal language everyone understands. We didn't stop there. You can preview your survey program even before it gets converted into the platform, right? You see upfront within our platform, and we have the conversational AI editor that you make changes to the survey using the natural language. And then, next slide please. Yeah, you can convert into more than 20 plus platforms we support. Maybe when it comes to market research, like Qualtrics is one of the biggest players we are targeting. And can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so why does it matter, right? The research teams, enterprise, they are drowning on manual work. So we are the intelligent bridge between the unstructured document and the survey platforms. So we eliminate the fraction of in terms of the manual effort they are putting into survey conversion. Next slide, please. So what we did in last 2 months, right? So we have converted 26,000 questions across 102 universities from 19 countries. And that's me, in my 15 years career, I would have done 360 projects. It's me doing 186 projects in 50 days. Next slide, please. Yeah. So this is one of the client customer story where this was our very first request came, and we tried to convert it. It takes like a day job for a professor. We converted that in 10 minutes. And I solved my problem. And now Pirai is kind of helping all the researchers across the globe solving their manual data process. Thank you.
How much does it cost to buy? That don't know how you make money. Yep. How do you make money?
So the current leads, right? The leads we are getting is more organic. It's fully bootstrapped, and because I have the domain expertise and the full stacking experience, I built it. Currently, we are doing free conversion for academics. So that's where, because we are trying to understand the complex nature of spec, because agency spec is more structured, B2C is not. Like, people don't follow a standard structure. So we wanted to solve that problem. Once we solve that problem, addressing B2B is much more easier for us as a product company. Because of the result that we have shown recently, we have been approached by B2B companies, enterprise teams, trying to understand how well they can use it. That's our target. But for your question, right, we are asking like 10 to 15% of the value we create. Because for any agency investing on our platform, they can easily save $80,000 to $150,000 each year, because agencies running out of, it's hard for them to get the margin. And investing on our platform, we create efficiency, and also they're getting the capital growth, because now the same team producing 10 projects, they can do more than 10. Win-win situation, and we are kind of expecting 10 to 15% of what value we create.
I like what you're doing. So you right now, based on what you said, you're doing the surveys for the academics.
No. So academics, researchers, professors, students, and also we are helping agencies. So that's the B2B. So we are trying to cover both the market, but we wanted to solve the complex first. B2B we can do any day. B2C, managing the specs we receive, it's unimaginable that I have never seen in my 15 years career. Okay, but we're solving that problem now.
Okay, yeah, sure, thanks.
Yeah.
So as far as these survey platforms, if I want to upload a series of questions,
Yes.
how many of those platforms don't accept CSV as their upload?
Yeah, so what we are doing is we are creating the platform native files, right? You give us any file, any document, CSV, Excel, Word document, PDF, right? We are converting into platform understandable file. You just need to upload. You don't have to spend 4 to 8 hours of manually adding the questions. Now it can be done in just like a file upload.
But if I had a CSV,
Yeah.
could I use that CSV for all of the survey platforms?
No, survey platforms don't understand that. Everybody has their own native programming. There is no bridge between the platforms. I want to wrap the whole platform ecosystem, irrespective of the industry, not just market research, education. In the future, wherever the document is, we will be able to solve the problem.
Okay. And if I asked, for argument's sake, ChatGPT
Yeah.
to convert my CSV that I do have
Yeah.
into any of those structures, how many do you think ChatGPT today is not familiar with and couldn't do?
I think it may not have knowledge of the domain, the native scripting. It can try to do. So I do have one of interesting case study where one of the professor tried ChatGPT to convert into Qualtrics QSF format. It failed. And then he found, so you can find the case study in our website. It failed, and he found per AI, and we converted like 200 questions in 10 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah, everything is organic and fully bootstrapped in Sydney. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so much for Arun from Pirai AI. And last but not least, we have Dan Novich from MyVal. Give it up for Val. Dan, sorry, here you go.
My house was hit by a rain bomb. So a rain bomb was 1 month of rain and hail in 3 hours. So my home was damaged, my contents, it was a terrible experience. But even worse than that was the insurance claim and my experience with the insurance. So essentially what happened is a few months before I updated my insurance policy, and I chose the highest possible sum insured on my contents. And so I called my insurance company and they said, great, you're covered. and they sent me through this Excel spreadsheet to fill out on my claim form. So this is the actual claim form. And it was I was almost reliving this trauma of this rain bomb. And so everyone's got a story of a bad experience with insurance. But the reality was that 80% of Australians are actually underinsured. And the question is, how do you actually accurately document your home content? So I went into the market and I looked for a product, a tool that I could use for my next time to properly and accurately document my contents. And there was nothing out there. So we created my value. And so essentially what you do is quick, simple, and easy. It needs to be a consumer product where the consumers actually going to walk around their home and actually document their content. It's got to be so simple and easy that you it uses AI, advanced image recognition, to identify the item. It gives you an accurate description. It then goes into the product disclosure statement of your individual insurance company that you've allocated, and it will tell you areas where you're actually underinsured. So essentially what we've created is a digital spreadsheet and a claims-ready product where you can basically not have the issues of having to have problems with a claim and have proper cover. So we launched in February this year, and we've had an unbelievable run. And the challenge is the consumer, because the consumer's lazy, and how do we get the consumer to actually understand that if they embrace technology, that we can help in the final problem of a claim. Thank you.
If you may, sorry, thank you. Thank you for the great pitch. I really like this. How challenging has it been to hook all the systems together and reliably identify someone's items and what they need to do?
So it was challenging, but I think when you experience something personally and you don't know a lot about it, and you start, so I'm a person who doesn't like to complain and tell stories unless I've done something about it. So it wasn't actually that challenging, because I got to really understand the pain points along the process with the insurer, and using different engines to create a product. And we're now into our second version, which we'll launch in a few months' time, is we're adding additional items. So we're now into the recall register, and we've got a maintenance vision. So if you take a picture of a toaster and there's been a recall on it, it's going to highlight it straight away that there's a recall on that product, because we can extract the data from the recall register. We're looking into individual product disclosure statements where there's a limitation on jewelry for $2,000, and you'll take a picture of your jewelry, and you'll have a watch that's worth $5,000, and it will highlight it straight away that you need to get a specified policy, or it recommends. So we're not giving any advice, we're using technology to educate people better.
Yep, perfect, thank you.
Great.
Actually, that's onto your question, like say, for example, of jewelry, right? And if you detect a jewelry, it's a specific policy. So in home insurance content, if I have a jewelry up to a certain amount, it will be covered. But when I pass a certain amount, it will say you have to get specialized insurance.
Exactly.
So how does the system determine the value of something where the value is changing all the time?
Great. So I think that's a very important thing. So if you look at gold today, the price of gold is shooting up, and so effectively within the program, we'll have the ability to push a button. There's a paid version where it will reanalyze everything to the current market. So it goes in initially, it gets a value. So effectively what we're doing is a person who owns content generally is the best value of those items. They've got a really good idea. So we come up with 3 different values using AI and different engines to give you a recommendation, and you'll choose which one you want. And when it comes to renewal, we'll do that process again, but a little bit more. If there's been an increase or decrease in the product, we'll add that value to it.
Great pitch. So I've done some sin in insurance in the past, specifically in claims. One of the pain points we always found was consumers don't care, and they don't care until they need to use their policy. How are you thinking about potentially changing that or putting yourself in that purchasing journey so that they know at that time where they create that policy that they've got to do this?
Great, good question. And I think, so I went up to a CEO of one of the large insurance companies at a conference last month, and I said, I've got this great product. And he looked at me and he said, it's not my problem. It's not the insurer problem, it's the consumer problem. So the reality is, we've been on a current affair really with the product. It was an amazing, and I think it's education. But I think, going back to your question, and I think our challenge is the consumer, but where out there is there a product where it's easy and simple to actually document your content? So yes, most people believe that they don't need to do it until the claim. But I think what we found personally is the person that's prepared to go out and actually document their content and want to understand their risk is actually a lower risk for an insurer. So if we can embed this in consumers and insurers and the people that actually take the time and effort to understand where their cover is, where they're underinsured, want to increase their insurance, they become that lower risk for the insurer. So I think we see a market in that field. Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Awesome. Well, while we're waiting for pizzas, we will also let the judges kind of have a little chat amongst yourselves to decide who is the winner, even though, you know, everyone's a winner here. Maybe let's give it a round of applause, actually, to everybody pitching today. Really, really well done. Never easy to get up on that stage. But while you're deliberating, and by the way, I'll give you, if you want to see, the list of people as well, just to refresh your memory here. I will tell you a bit about next week's event, man. Awesome. So next week is actually our final Fridays at UTS Startups of the year. So please do come along. You can go, we don't have the QR code here, but go on Humanitics UTS Startups. It's under our events there. It's sponsored by Scalari Partners, which is awesome. It's a go-to-market strategy panel, followed by end-of-year celebration. So we'll also have some drinks and some fun next week. So please make sure you do come along to that. It looks like they're still deliberating. But maybe let me tell you a bit more about what's happening upstairs. So as I mentioned to you, we do have that brand new co-working space. I did forget to mention before, UTS used to be only open to, well, UTS Startups used to be only open to UTS alumni or current students, but now it's actually open to anyone, externals as well. So just wanted to let you all know, anyone can now join. It is a bit of an application process though. We only accept teams up to 6 people, so early stage startups. And we have big plans for next year as well to run these Fridays at UTS Startups events. So stay tuned for next year. I think we're going to kick them off again end of January, beginning of February. But please do come and celebrate with us end of year. We are also waiting for pizzas. I think Nux is just around the corner, so I think I can smell them already. Judges, do you need a little bit more time? I don't have any jokes to tell you or anything, so. Well, it's a tough decision. Everyone did such an amazing job, but maybe I'll let Dave, our AI guy from UTS Startups, to come up on stage and maybe give a bit of a summary about how everyone went and then announce who was the favorite. Thank you.
Hello, there we go. What a great series of pitches, right? Don't you think? That was really, really great. It's fun. AI, everyone's talking about AI right now, and I mean, I'm always thinking about AI, and it's fun to see kind of the different interpretations of what it is and how to use it and how I can integrate it and how I can make a business out of it, right? I'm from the background of training models. I'm making my own models, doing my own stuff, and you know, I'm hardcore, so that's what I think is cool and important. But there's lots of businesses that you can make with what we have off the shelf right now. It costs you cents. I can tell you from experience upstairs, we're running a lot of operations for cents. And so I think that's fantastic. Maybe we're a little biased, as it turns out, because we're a little bit too technical with the results that we've gone with. But I will stress, everyone did an amazing job. But today's winner, at least in our opinion, which does not mean much, no. Don't take it with a very large grain of salt. Neural Commander, well done. Well done.
That is Bradley.
Well done.
Did you want to say a few words before the pizzas arrive, Bradley? I know you rushed through your pitch a little bit, so maybe if you want to tell a little bit more while we wait for the pizzas.
Yeah, okay, so that's really gratifying, thank you. It is a case of solving a really painful problem, and I think I can help a lot of people with it, including many in the room. So as I mentioned, I'll be looking for beta testers on this. The pitch is online at neuralcommander.ai, so if you want to read the whole pitch in your own time, you can do that. Find me on LinkedIn, Bradley, Angels in the AI, Hughes. Changed my handle to that about 5 years ago, thinking ahead where things are going to be. And the motivation for that is, if I may get on the soapbox for a minute, is I think that governance and ethics and how we ensure that AI is safe and able to be used by everyone in a way that's not harmful to humanity, we need to embody the angels of our better natures in the AI and in the systems we build. So that's just something I thought I'd put out there.
Unreal. Thank you very much. How long have you been working on it?
It's about, I had the idea in July. I started building probably mid-August. And it's in between like 6 other projects I'm working on. And I iterate every time I hit something in one of those that's a blocker. And it started as just a global learnings file in my top level of my projects directory and having a script that updated that consistently. Every time Claude did something really dumb or couldn't solve a problem, I'd tell it to write it to global learnings. And then I'd put it in the claude.md of each project, check global learnings. And so it started from there. And it's just been something I've been layering onto and building up.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you that I'm working on similar things just myself, not as like any kind of startup thing. I think this is a popular space, right? Like, what the hell was I working on? You know, what happened? How do I keep track of what's going on? Your own project management is a cool angle to it, right? Understanding what you're doing and where I should be moving and what have you. But the local model.
So I'm adding metrics into it as well, you know, like cadence and velocity of code on the different projects, and sort of trying to add in where things get stuck. And
Yep. Like one of my conspiracy theories is that the AI project manager is the one that's going to spy on you and take your job. They're going to teach your boss how you do your job. And so the local angle was really interesting as well. There's limits, right?
Mm-hmm.
The intelligence of the model is directly correlated with its size and all that.
There are later stages to the vision, which is ultimately what I call, I borrowed the term from a famous paper and discussion called the beautiful economy. I want to create the beautiful economy for developers, where if you've got a really valuable idea, eventually I want to have this running on Holochain as a federated protocol, where it'll check in common patterns, like when you solve a problem that is a problem other people have, without exposing your own specific IP, that pattern can be documented and added into the global protocol as a learning resource and become like a decentralized kind of resource of previously solved problems. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you again.
Okay,
Thanks, Jane.
Awesome, everyone. Okay, I have confirmed the pizzas are in the way with Nook in Nook's car. He might be stuck in a bit of traffic, but let's give everyone another round of applause quickly. Thank you. And just a reminder, some of these founders are sticking around, also the judges as well. So if you do want to have a deeper chat, please go up to them. I will not be trying to make up any jokes anymore to keep you any longer. Please go and grab a drink first and prepare your bellies for some pizza. They should be arriving any minute. But thank you again so much for coming, and let's keep networking. Thank you.